Money FM 89.3, the best of the afternoon update. The afternoon update with Lynlee Foo.
That's right, you're with me, Lynlee, on the afternoon update. Now, when you hear the word pawn shop, you might think of something old-fashioned or outdated, but that picture no longer quite fits. Across Southeast Asia, pawn shops are evolving. What was once seen purely as a last resort option is now transforming into part of a broader retail and financial ecosystem. And the timing couldn't be more interesting, with gold prices soaring and consumers embracing pre-owned luxury. The industry is being reshaped in ways that touch both everyday consumers and businesses. Joining me now to tell us more is Lim Chun Seng, Group General Manager of MoneyMax. For listeners who may not know, MoneyMax is a Singapore-listed company and one of the region's largest pawnbroking and luxury resale groups, with more than 100 outlets across Singapore and Malaysia. Welcome, Chun Seng. Great to have you here on Industry Insight.
Hi. It's a pleasure to be here today with you.
We love hearing new voices, and I hear it's your first time on radio.
It is my first time on air.
All right, let's get cracking. Now, MoneyMax was launched in 2008 as part of your family's diversification strategy from SK Jewellery Group, which is a household name in Singapore's jewellery retail industry since 1991. Now, that move marked the family's entry into financial services, specifically pawnbroking and secured lending, building on your expertise in gold and jewellery valuation. And I understand that you officially came on board in 2018 as a second-generation leader. So when you look at the industry today, how do you see pawnbroking and luxury resale evolving? And where is MoneyMax positioning itself in that landscape?
Well, I think the industry has certainly evolved a lot over the years. Well, I'm not too sure if listeners or yourself, if you've seen the traditional industry in the past. But I think in the past there seems to be a certain perception, almost stigma attached to the industry. I think we are very happy to share that this has improved generally across the years. The industry today is very much highly regulated and transparent as well. Very much modernized now. I think no doubt in play both to us and all the other our fellow peers in the industry as well.
Okay, so how are you positioning yourselves? When people ask you, what business are you in? What do you say to them?
Well, maybe I could just take some time to introduce, our business as a whole. We are a financial services company, as our name suggests, very much focused in the Southeast Asia region. We operate primarily out from two markets, Singapore and Malaysia. Now, our vision is to provide access to credit, to the underbanked segments in the region. When we tell this to people, I think often the question that gets raised is then how can we do this sustainably? Because, presumably some of these customers may not be creditworthy in the traditional sense. Now, our answer to this is actually via asset-based lending. If you take a look at our business segments, we have three main business segments. We have pawnbroking, we're in the retail and trading of luxury products, and we're in secured lending businesses as well. Under the secured lending segment, we have two main lending portfolios in automotive financing and real estate. I think if you take a look at the recurring theme across all businesses, they are all lending solutions. They are backed by a asset class in one way or another.
Okay. That's interesting. So you're saying it's no longer just about someone pawning jewelry in an emergency, but this whole thing is part of a wider financial and retail ecosystem.
Yeah, I think it's more than that. I will give you an example. Real estate as well. I think it's generally a good asset class in Singapore. There are many people with maybe some liquidity that's left in their real estate that's untapped. I think those are areas that we look into as well and providing financial solutions to them.
Okay. All right. I think, that kind of make your story stand out. Part financial services, part retail, part digital as well. And when we look at the business today, the numbers really tell the story. MoneyMax's latest H1 results showed revenue climbing more than 30% year on year to about $243 million, and net profit surging 76% to $31.8 million. That's remarkable for a company that started with just one outlet in 2008. So what do you see as the main drivers behind that performance? And how has MoneyMax managed to scale so quickly across Singapore and Malaysia?
Well, I think it's difficult really to pinpoint onto any single factor. But if you ask me, I think I would start with the main driving force behind our years of growth and evolution. I think the company has a strong culture of innovation. Innovation, if you take a look today, I think it tends to be associated to technology or, the buzzword AI, Gen AI. But in our company specifically, I think innovation is an extremely data-driven approach to resolving the pain points of our customers. I'll give you an example. You mentioned previously that we started in 2008 with our first store.
Mm-hmm.
When we entered the industry in 2008, we identified a gap in the overall consumer experience of the industry. So when we entered the industry, took, if I may, a modernized approach in the traditional industry. So we did away with, steel bar, pawn counters.
Mm-hmm.
We refurbished our stores, increase the lighting of the stores to make sure that the overall aesthetic was pleasing. But the entire idea here was to create an environment that our customers were comfortable to transact in. And this emphasis on customer service standards, I think, made us stand out from our peers. And the market obviously liked this solution because we were incorporated in 2008,
mm-hmm.
and we quickly grew to a size that allowed us to get listed on the Singapore Stock Exchange, in 2013.
That's right. Well, of course, no industry transformation is without its challenges. So what would you say are the biggest pressures your space is facing right now, this pawnbroking and luxury resale industry is facing right now?
Well, I think I wouldn't really say it's a challenge, but I think one of the things that is quite common these days would be about the gold prices. Right? I think that generally there's been a rising trend in gold prices, and I do think that has a positive impact on the pawnbroking business as a whole.
Okay, so the pawn shop of old was very different from what you've just described.
Yeah.
So how has the business model evolved on the ground?
I think the business model has changed a lot. Maybe I'll just give you an example in our recent stores that we opened in Malaysia. In 2022, we made a decision to move into Malaysia under the MoneyMax brand for the first time in our organization's history. And the unique proposition that we offered to the customers in Malaysia is actually a drive-through pawnshop.
Okay, wow. That's interesting.
And so it's interesting, right? When I share this with my friends and my investors as well, it's the same reaction. And the question often is why? Why would we come out with a drive-through pawnshop?
Mm-hmm.
And it goes back to what I mentioned earlier, right, about data-driven approach to resolving our customers' pain points. Prior to 2002, we have actually been in the Malaysian pawnbroking scene for, say, a decade. So we identified a few pain points that customers had. So, one, I would say almost every single Malaysian, they either drive a car or they ride a motorcycle. Now, because of this, our businesses are often limited by the availability of parking lots within the vicinity of outlets.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so whatever we wanted to do, there has to be a solution to this issue. Now, secondly, of course, security is always a concern. When our customers come to our store, they're either carrying valuables. When they leave our store, sometimes they're carrying large amounts of cash. Thirdly, we also understand that our customers would prefer privacy as well. When they come to our store, sometimes they come in times of urgent need. They will certainly appreciate having some form of privacy as well. Taking all these three pain points together and considering that, the average transaction time of a pawnbroking transaction would probably be about 8 to 15 minutes, we thought we would give a pawnbroking drive-through a shot. So we tried it out in our first store in Johor last year. Well, I would say our customers welcomed the solution. And because of the success that we had in our first store, we then quickly rolled this out across to our other stores in Malaysia where it was possible to open this drive-through outlet.
Wow, amazing. Okay, when we think of pawn shops, usually we think about gold bars, family heirlooms. But beyond gold, you also deal in luxury watches, handbags, and more. So in your experience, what actually holds the most value over time? Still gold?
Well, I think we'll still have to go with gold considering our historical performance.
Okay, it's timeless, of course. And that reflects a bigger shift in consumer behavior. The fact that you're dealing with more than just gold, where pre-owned is also quite aspirational, I think. And coming to that, I want to talk about your younger customers. So who is the typical pawn shop or resale customer today, and how has that profile shifted from the past?
No, I think there's a common perception that perhaps the customer base is a little bit more aged. I wouldn't say so. To be honest, our customers come from all walks of life. We have customers coming from occupations they are as varied, and from age demographics they are as varied as well. So I don't think there is a particular contingent penetration in any particular demographic, to be honest.
Okay. And what about your new offerings in terms of auto financing and property financing? Where's the demand coming from?
Well, it's the same, These are customers from all walks of life. This may be aspiring car owners, right, who are looking to own their first vehicle. This may also be business owners who are looking to better manage their cash flows.
Okay. So what used to be niche is now probably a mainstream cross-section of the economy. Sounds like that.
Well, I hope so.
Okay. Now, this shift, I suppose, isn't unique to Singapore. Like you mentioned, things are quite active in Malaysia as well. Globally, we've also seen pawn operators in places like the US and Hong Kong also expanding into resale and retail. But in Southeast Asia, MoneyMax stands out. As we mentioned, you're one of the few players combining pawnbroking, gold trading, pre-owned luxury at scale, and framing it as part of a larger consumer financial services strategy. So do you see this model eventually integrating more closely with mainstream finance? And if so, could regulations start to look more like what banks face today?
Well, maybe. Well, I can't speak for the government, but I would also like to say that, the industry is also highly regulated. The pawnbroking industry, for instance, is regulated by the Registry of Pawnbrokers and the Ministry of Law, and we do have to adhere to the relevant legislations as well as license conditions and the prevailing, anti-money laundering laws as well.
Okay, so the industry is really walking a line between flexibility and mainstream recognition with all this regulation as well. So you're a second-generation leader carrying forward a family legacy. When you look 10 or 20 years ahead, what's your vision for the industry?
Well, I think the industry still plays an important role in society today. I think the industry serves as an alternative to plug the gap of demographics that the banks traditionally do not serve. Yeah, we do see great potential for the growth in our business segments, and we will probably continue to invest our resources for the long-term growth purposes.
Okay, so where would you like to see MoneyMax, in 10 to 20 years' time?
Well, hopefully better than today.
In more countries, I hope? And any plans in the pipeline?
Well, they say never say never, but I think the key word always is to be able to focus on our existing businesses. So we do see plenty of more work to be done in our existing markets, and that is probably where we'll focus our efforts on in the next 24 months to 36 months.
All right, Chun Seng, thank you so much for joining us on Industry Insight today and telling us so much about transforming one of the oldest financial services into one of the most future-ready.
Thank you. It was a pleasure. Thank you.
He is Lim Chun Seng, Group General Manager of Financial Retail Innovator, I would say, MoneyMax.
To listen to more great interviews, download our podcasts at audio.sg or download the audio app. That's AWEDIO, audio at the App Store and Google Play.